welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have my March TBR. Now, usually I really like doing my TBRs, but unfortunately for March it is literally all over the place because right at the beginning of February I had a bit of a slump, and as I'm pre-filming this now, I'm just at the end of Contemporary-a-thon, so a lot of the books I wanted to read are on hold for the last week and a half of February, so I don't really know how far and how much I'm going to get read in the remainder of February. So this is sort of like an estimated TBR of what I will be reading in March. So as you all know by now, I'm structuring my TBRs on the goals that I set for myself for 2018. And as usual, we'll start with my Goodreads goal, which is to read the oldest books on my Goodreads to read shelf. So for February I started the House of Night series, except I haven't actually started it yet. I will be starting it probably tomorrow, but I only think I'm going to get 2 books done. Now, because it's such a long series, I want to read at least 3 to 5 books before I decide if I'm going to DNF it or continue with the series. So on my March TBR I have Chosen, Untamed and Hunted, which I think are the 3rd, 4th and 5th books, although they might not actually be, but that's how they were on my shelves. If I end up liking them, I will continue with the series, so the rest of the series will then make it onto my March TBR. But if not, I will be DNFing these after either the 3rd or the 5th book, depending on how much I dislike them. As I haven't started these yet, I'm not entirely sure what they're about, but I think it's vampires. It could be werewolves, but I'm pretty sure it's vampires, which is not something I'm into so much anymore, but obviously I'll give them a try because I have, I think, of the 12 book series, I think I've got at least 10 books. So it would be a waste of my money and time hunting these down if I didn't give them a go. So if I do make it to 3 or 5 books and decide to DNF that series, I will then be moving on to the next set of books on my Goodreads to read shelf, and that is The Wolves of Mercy Falls by Maggie Stiefvater, starting with the first book, Shiver. These are about werewolves, another paranormal romance. As you can tell, that was what I was really into in 2014. Unfortunately not anymore, but I have a lot of them on my shelves, like my physical shelves, so if I can read through a lot of them, that will really clear up some space for new books. Like I said, this is about werewolves. I don't know what else it's about, but I haven't yet read anything by Maggie Stiefvater, and I have at least 1 book from every series she's ever written, so I think it's about time that I started to clear through those and actually read some of her work. Then for my goal of clearing out the books on my shelves that I either don't know a lot about or don't want to read anymore, I have the Carrie Diaries by Cecily von Ziegler, that's Gossip Girl. Candice Bushnell. For those of you who have been with me a while, you may know that for the last Contemporary-a-thon, which I think was in November, I read Sex and the City by Candice Bushnell and I absolutely hated it. So shortly after, I unhauled both Sex and the City and Lipstick Jungle, but I did hold on to the Carrie Diaries because this is her YA series about Carrie when she was a teenager, although I do think it might be in a more modern setting. On the back it just says, Carrie Bradshaw was a small town girl who knew she wanted more. Now the main thing that I really hated about Sex and the City was the writing style. I thought it was really obnoxious, and it was told sort of in a series of like magazine gossip columns about the people in New York. So because I'm assuming that this is in a diary style, I may like it more. I do have the sequel, which is called Summer in the City, so if I like this or it's okay, I'll carry on and read that. If not, they're probably getting on hold soon. Now onto my rereads for the month. We have The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas, which is the prequel novellas to Throne of Glass. As you may know, I'm doing a group read of Throne of Glass in anticipation for the newest book in the series coming out. We did start with Throne of Glass because there's a few people in the group who haven't read Throne of Glass at all, and so I thought it would be best for them if we started with Throne of Glass so they had some context before we read The Assassin's Blade. So this will be the book for March, and it's a collection of short stories about Celena's time before she ends up in Andovia and subsequently in the King's Palace to join the competition to become not a Darlin's assassin, the King's champion. I'm really excited for this. I had a lot of fun reading Throne of Glass and I really appreciated that book more the second time around, so I'm also hoping I love this. And this book is about Sam, and I really love Sam. Then we have Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. Similar story. I'm rereading the Red Queen series in anticipation for Warstorm coming out in May, and I'm reading Red Queen in February, although I haven't started it yet. So in March I will be reading Glass Sword. if you've been watching my channel, you probably already know Red Queen is about a society that's split between red bloods, which are sort of the normal humans, and the silver elite, who are sort of superpowered. And there's a red girl called Mare Barrow who discovers that she has powers, yet she isn't a silver. So the silvers sort of bring her into their society while they try and figure out what that means, while she also works with a group of rebels to also figure out what it means. Another thing that happens every other month is that my best friend Ryan recommends me a book to read, and March is one of those recommendation months, and this month I will be reading Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I'm super excited for this. I actually gifted this to Ryan for Christmas and he really loved it, and I've been super excited to read it, but it isn't out in paperback yet, and I have the Dream of Gods and Monsters series, or whatever it's called, Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, that I haven't read yet. However, I'm super excited that I can read this month because it's been recommended to me, and I'm thinking that I'm going to love it. I don't own a copy yet, but the paperback is being released on the 8th of March, so I'm going to get one as soon as it comes out, and then I'll be ready to read it. I have no idea what this is about, apart from a guy called Laszlo Strange, who's sort of an archivist, I think, and he is obsessed with this city that everyone's forgotten the name of, and they call it Weep. Literally know nothing else, but it must be about more, otherwise it wouldn't be such a hefty book, and I'm just ready to dive in. The next book is my library book that should have been for February, but I went to the library quite late in February. This is Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller, and I'm probably not going to get to start it until March, so I thought I might as well mention it in my TBR. It is actually due back at the library on the 1st of March, but providing that there's no holds on it, I am going to renew it so that I have time to read it. And this is a dystopian sci-fi virtual reality game sort of book. Don't know much about it apart from that it's pretty new, which is the main reason I was interested in it. I've heard that it's just average, but as somebody who wants to read a lot more sci-fi and who hasn't read Ready Player One or Warcross yet, I think I might be able to enjoy it a little bit more because I have less to compare it to. And the last part of my TBR is my jar picks, even though I don't know why I'm bothering to do these, because so far I have yet to actually get around to reading something from my TBR jar. But I also haven't added the books from my February haul because I haven't filmed it yet. But as I'm probably not going to read them, it doesn't really matter. So the first book I've picked is a series, and it's quite an old one because it's on purple paper. And that is, oh no, The Fallen by Thomas E. Snagoski. This is a Fallen Angel book. I don't know anything else about it, but it's also a bind-up of the first 2 books in the series. And I also have the second part. Oh, no, I lied. This one's the first part. This one's the second part. So I guess I'm reading these, although to be honest I've had these for so long, literally heard nothing about them, so if I don't like them I'm not really afraid to DNF them. And as for the standalone, I'm going to try and read this month, Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, which is on my Kindle. Actually, Ryan read this recently and he said it wasn't worth the read, so not too excited about that one either, but I always fly through contemporaries and I don't think it's very long, so I'm happy to give it a go. So that's everything from my March TBR. Please let me know if you've read any of the books on my TBR or what your most anticipated read for March is going to be. As always, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into the box down below, you'll find a link to my Instagram, Goodreads and Twitter if you want to follow me on any of those, and also a link to my Bookish candle and body butter website and the Instagram for that if you'd like to check any of those out. The website is now live, so if you'd like to check out any of the products that I make, then please feel free, and I would appreciate it if you could spread the word. But that's everything from me today. Bye!